there, fellow roleplayers and game masters. My name is Mr. Tarask, and these are the new Multiverse Battlemaps by Lion Banner Games, sent to me just yesterday. Well, I received them just yesterday in time for their Kickstarter campaign, because right now they are being kickstarted, and I promised Lion Banner Games to take a look at these and basically give my first impressions kinda on these battle maps while they're being kickstarted. Right here I have a fantasy themed one with a really cool cover, finding some kind of giant type person. There is the Cyberpunk Themed one, which I really like, as the cover at least, which is this woman pointing a gun at you, and then she holds the samurai sword kind of thing, this katana kind of thing right here, cyberpunk thing. And then there is the Multiverse Battle Maps, the sci-fi themed ones, which I'm really interested in because I'm running more and more sci-fi. I'm trying to get my players to play more sci-fi because I think there's a lot of adventure to be had within that genre. Now, there's a few things before I change my camera standpoint. There's a few things I need to say. First of all, these are prototypes. Normally these spiral thingies will be black, and there's a few pages not yet laminated. So what are these? These are big battle maps. All kinds of battle maps that you can just slap on the table that will always lie flat, and you can use a dry erase marker on them, which is one of the most important things about battle maps. Using a dry erase marker on them is just so cool for them. Now, I'm going to be straight on with you guys. I don't use battle maps that often because I'm mainly a theater of the mind kind of game master, but starting from like level 9, level 10, and tier 3 Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, I start using battle maps, start using miniatures more, because otherwise the combat will get like too difficult and everything. So having these kinds of books, I have a bunch from other brands as well, is just kind of like a superpower. Just having them ready to slap them on the table when your players take a left turn, or when they were supposed to take a right turn, or you want to use them to prepare encounters on. So let's look at the battle maps themselves. So this is me trying to get a good angle to look at these battle map books. As you can see, I'm using two webcams, one low quality to look at you guys, and one high quality so you guys can get a great look at these battle map books by Lion Banner Games. So I must say, Lion Banner Games, thank you so freaking much for, first of all, sending these to me to give my honest first impressions on, and also sending me a little bit of cash, actually sponsoring this video, which I absolutely appreciate. So I'm going to look at the fantasy battle map book set, book thingy first, and just open it up and give you my first impressions. Like always, honest first impressions. It's kind of like Flappy. I have books, I don't know if this is like the final quality. I have books that feel sturdier. Books like battle map books that feel sturdier than this. So I hope something will change. It's not bad at all. Like, it's not bad, it's just usable, very usable, but it's just, I don't know. It's A3 size, which I absolutely love. It is big enough so you can do your thing on them. So we start off, I'm trying to get a good angle on this. We start off with kind of like a, is this like the inside of a keep? It's a town, village type thing where there's market going on, which is something that you can, for my games at least, can always use. It's one of those generic things where when you're playing in like Zobek, for example, and you want some thugs to fight the party, or the party might be arrested by guards and they're trying to fight back, you can use this kind of thing, kind of like a square in a town. This is like the inside of a dungeon, like the first rooms or something like that. I think it's kind of like ruins, more dungeon stuff. Okay. So the great thing about this is that you can probably place these, if you have more of these, you can probably place these next to each other, making like one big thing, which I don't necessarily think is something I would personally use. I would just have like one room, and then when the game transfers into another room, I might just flip the book around and have the game go on in that room. But that's also because I have players who actually want to play the game, who kind of like feel what I am trying to do as a storyteller, as a game master. So it's really cool to have those kinds of players that don't just go to all kinds of random crap. I think these look really, really cool. And the cool thing about this, I don't have small miniatures right now. The cool thing about this is, of course, it has squares. It just fits the normal size type thing. I have this like pirate, which is not official or anything, but I use it every now and then to like represent the gargantuan creature, which is from Sea of Thieves, the video game. I got this miniature when I had a previous channel where I covered Sea of Thieves, but now I do Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. Yeah, cool crypt-like type of thing where there's gold here and looks really high resolution. And I have to say, personally, some of this stuff for me is too photorealistic. In a sense, like trying to be photorealistic, but then not being photorealistic. So it's not really drawn, but it's also not photorealistic. So it's somewhere in between, which is not my style per se. And some of this stuff feels like lower resolution than some of the stuff in the foreground. But other than that, it's really cool having this type of stuff, having this type of... Ooh, right. This is like a sewer thing. It goes like the dungeon transfers into the water. There is... Ooh, is this like some kind of underground harbor thingy? Where this might be usable for that part. Zobak, the city of Zobak in the Midgard campaign setting by Gold Press has this underground thing going on where kobolds and red folk and all that stuff lives, and they have their own society underneath the city. This could be really, really good for that. Yes, this could be absolutely perfect for that, actually. Cool fantasy stuff. Generic fantasy stuff, which is actually a good thing. Generic fantasy stuff to slap on the table, and when your players are like, yeah, let's go to the village, and you want to have something happen in that village or whatever, you're just like saying, oh, you cross the first few houses, and then suddenly, I don't know, a freaking Hydra pops up out of the bushes. I don't know, I'm just making this shit up on the fly. It's really good to have this generic thing to slap on your table, put a miniature on it. It's like, there's a Hydra here, and you guys are here. Boom, roll initiative. That's what this is for, right? That's what this is for, and it absolutely serves its purpose. So Lion Banner Games, good job on that. Oh, wow. This is like the top of a tower? I love this. I'm actually designing a encounter for the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters. You can still pre-order that, by the way. That is set in this exact location. That's really cool. That is really, 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 really cool. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. There's some runes here and there. It's like this rune church. Really cool to have. Really cool to have these... I keep using the word generic, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I kind of mean it in a really, 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 really good way. Then there is the Sci-Fi Themed Multiverse Battlemaps book. Now, this feels a little bit smaller and thinner than the other one, so I think there's less of these. I don't know. This book includes 60 pages, and I have to check really quickly here. Book includes 60 pages, 68 if stretch goals are unlocked, and this also says 60 pages. So this is probably the ready ish version of it, because all of these are prototypes, by the way. I said that in the beginning of the video. These are prototypes because the rings here are supposed to be black. Some maps aren't yet laminated, so I cannot use my dry erase markers on these just yet. I can, but I can't erase them then. So this one feels like it's not yet the finished version. There's just not 60 pages in here, I think. So, it's okay. I like the cover. I like this corridor blasting alien coming up to a person here, and they're trying to, I don't know, with a flamethrower type weapon, having their last stand probably while their friends on the spaceship are getting into an escape pod. Something like that. Sci-fi epic shit. So there's this sci-fi corridor that it starts with. Wait, is it a corridor? Oh wow, these are really cool. I like these more than the fantasy one. I don't know, something with the something with the quality or the resolution or just my eyes. I don't know. I love that this could be like the interior of a really big spaceship with some really big rooms, like an engine room, stuff like that. There's silos here that you can use. I love this, but it's also because I've been transferring some of my games or some of my players into sci-fi, and I'd like to run more sci-fi. So having this is really cool because I then have like a weapon at my disposal in order to play sci-fi. Same type of thing. This kind of reminds me of like video games like Doom and stuff, right? Like these big rooms that you can have like hordes of zombies or hordes of stuff around here. I don't know, aliens probably, and your players have to like go behind these silos, and there's like this long range combat going on. Yeah, absolutely. I love this one, really. Oh wow, the colors. I don't know if you can see this properly on camera, but the colors really pop. So there's like these little rooms. These are cells. Here, these are cells, and they all have like the same table with 2 chairs, and they have like a thing to piss and shit in, and there's this washing thing right above it, and there's probably, this is the bed right here. So these are prison cells, more prison cells, exactly the same. So if you can do like this, just from the top of my head, there's a bunch of people in prison, and you are a pirate, and you want to free them because they were also pirates, and you want to increase the strength of your pirate fleet. So you want to go save the pirates. So you have a campaign there, ID from the get-go, just from looking at that's what I like about Battlemaps as well. You look at the battle map, and then you get the ID. I often see people, which is absolutely great, but I often see people like making an entire campaign, writing it, all of that stuff, and then trying to find the right artwork, trying to find the right battle maps, trying to find the right miniatures. I often just do it the other way around. I just open a bit of lore, read it, and then boom, a campaign happens, right? Or I look at a piece of artwork and I just make a campaign from that. Or I look at a bunch of artwork and I try to put that together in order to get a campaign, to get the creative juices flowing, right? I actually look like a freaking zombie on camera here, right? But more of this. This kind of say, oh, this is the same thing. So there's this room, right? Was this the situation all along? No, it wasn't. So there's this room, probably this is like a control room of sorts, and there's some pods here that people can sit in and control something. I don't know. There's a research table here where you have somebody that you can, I don't know, you want to scan somebody or fit a bionic arm to a person who lost their arm or something. So this could be like a sick bay kind of thing. But then the alarm goes off. And this happens, and there's blood, and there's goo, and there's more blood. Yep. Oh, wow. It is the final boss. It is a goo-like creature with eggs. All like T-Rexes, kind of aliens pop out of them, and they start walking around the ship and all through these corridors, and people are shooting their way through the corridors. Basically, like you can see on the cover, right? Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And then, last but not least, one that actually feels heavier and feels more complete than the sci-fi version. It is the Cyberpunk themed version. I've never, ever in my life played any Cyberpunk games, tabletop RPG games. I've played some Cyberpunk themed video games and stuff. I read some books, Cyberpunk themed books, but I haven't played any tabletop RPGs in the setting. And I don't know if I ever wanna run a game in a cyberpunk setting. I would love to play a game, but I don't know if I'd run a game. Motel. It says motel. Am I having... Yeah, motel. It says motel right here. There's the street. There's all kind of stuff going on. There's probably like places you can go to get your fix, if you know what I mean. either drug related or sex related. There is a crossway, other roads. Again, you can probably slap these together if you have more of these books, or you can, if you want to really be stupid about it, you can tear this out and put them next to each other. Technically, more streets. So there's just like streets, and there's this alleyway here. I'd like to see like what happens in this alleyway. Yeah, more of the same goodness we get from the fantasy themed ones, but this one is from for Cyberpunk, which is basically streets and more streets. So here there's more going on. Like for me, there's just a little too many just streets and streets and streets, right? Just, I mean, you can have an encounter, another encounter, another encounter, another encounter, and by this time, people will be sick and tired of having street encounters. But then we have a more interesting one, which is this, I don't know, there's benches here that you can sit and you can probably drink and eat your burger. There's some cool sci-fi themed cars. There's an ambulance, which has more stuff going on. So if you have an encounter here, you can have people like take cover behind a car, or get in like the ambulance right here and just mow people down. There's an open thing. Yeah. I love how these are just, there's nothing really specific about them, right? And I mean that in a good way. I often have this with Battlemaps, like it's just, no, there's too much of this, or there's too much of that, and you cannot change a battle map. You cannot like take stuff out of this. That's a good thing with like using miniatures for everything. You can have like something here and something there, and then take something away and really build it for your own style. But this really functions more as a template to have to maybe put some other stuff here and there. Like there's this car you can get a printable file of with the Kickstarter. You can put that car here, for example, which is really cool to have like this base template to build upon instead of having like too much going on for your cool, there's this basketball field. This is really cool. I like this as a setting for an encounter. Really like this. Yeah, absolutely love it. The basketball court, or some chairs here for people who want to sit there and look at basketball game. There's this junkyard type thing going on, and that is basically it for the Cyberpunk themed battle maps. And that is basically it for the Multiverse battle maps by Line Banner Games, which are a bunch of battle maps that have a good, solid, like, foundation to have your battles on and to put more stuff on. They are somewhat generic, which is often a good thing because there's not too much going on. But I also at the same time feel there's a little bit too much repetition in there. Like for the Cyberpunk one, there's like streets, and streets, which I think there's just a little bit too much repetition in there. But otherwise, a great tool to have at your disposal as a game master to just have like on your shelf, and when your characters go somewhere or there's a situation where you need something on the fly or whatever, you take one of these things, open it up, just like, oh, this is great, we need this, and you put it down, have a bunch of creatures on there, have maybe some other stuff on there like cars or whatever, and you can have yourself an awesome encounter on the fly. And that is what I like about this stuff. Until next video, bye bye.